Hello, welcome or welcome back. In today's video, our entire home is getting packed up and shipped from Japan to Florida. We aren't leaving until June, but we are shipping our belongings early to hopefully get it all delivered shortly after we arrive. It is currently estimated to arrive mid-August, so we will be living minimally until then. We only kept back the essentials, so this should be an interesting few months. To prepare for moving day, we were told to remove our decorations from the walls, remove any batteries from decor or toys, as well as unmount the TV and have the items we aren't shipping separated so the movers wouldn't move it. So the way we did this was to use some pink striped washi tape to mark off the stuff we didn't want them to take. We marked off our laundry room, a couple cabinets in the kitchen, our showers, and the balconies. This way we were able to store the things we wanted to keep in those places without having to worry that they would move them. I'm recording this in our now empty apartment, so I do apologize for my echoey voice. Hopefully you can bear with me for the next few months. So this is the before. We have things scattered all around to attempt to make it easier for them to pack our boxes. I don't know how typical moving companies work, but both times it's been lined up by the Air Force. It has been by companies who won't let you pack much so they can't be held liable if things break in transit. I'm impressed they let us pack as much as we did. We packed all of our small appliances, some of Emmett's toys, as well as our seasonal totes. We also pre-packed a couple boxes of Japanese snacks and cooking ingredients that they also shipped for us because friends I have that have moved from here in the recent past have been denied moving any pantry items or liquids. So this was a pleasant surprise that they did that for us. We put our luggage out on our bedroom fire escape balcony just because I didn't want to even entertain the idea of them accidentally packing our suitcases because I did not want to be lacking clothing or items that we needed. And here's little Emmett. He didn't wake up until after the movers had already started looking around, and he was actually very good this day. I was very proud of him. There were 4 Japanese nationals who were packing our things and 1 American who was able to translate English to Japanese and vice versa, so we were all able to communicate. I was very impressed by how efficiently they packed our home. They arrived at 8 in the morning and left around 2 p.m. that day and then returned again the next morning from 8 to 10. Now they were just taking a little lunch break, so I was doing a quick walkthrough while they were downstairs. It was crazy to see how much of our stuff was just put into boxes and how fast it had been taken. And then they had written on our boxes with Japanese, and the 1 American who was working would go through and write in English on the boxes what they had written already, and that was cool to see. I just love looking at Japanese symbols because obviously it's a whole language that I can't understand. And sometimes it cracks me up when the Japanese nationals write in English on here. This was supposed to say bed, head, and foot for our bed, headboard, and footboard. So it was just a cute little old Japanese guy who had written that. And this was just what he had translated onto the boxes. Since we had to be at home with the movers, it was interesting to see what to do for the entire day. So we wandered around the hallways. Rachel took Emmett to the park. At one point, I took Emmett to the commissary just so we could grab snacks and drinks for our movers so that they weren't hungry. Just sort of a little hospitality thing there. And it was cute to see what Emmett would do with all of our stuff boxed up. He did a lot better emotionally than we anticipated. He just played with his little cars and used all the boxed up things as ramps. Since this day was pretty windy, we hung out inside a lot of the day. We hung around the living room because that was the room that was packed first. Rachel and I had a little Coke Zero and coffee break. This cute little Japanese can of coffee is super delicious, as most of their coffee is. Sometimes you can get some that aren't, but most of them are, so don't be afraid to try it if you're ever here. Emmett just kind of watched them and snuggled. He had a good time, but he was also a little bit intimidated by them because obviously everything he's ever known was getting packed up. This box at the top was our box of Japanese snacks we had packed. I was really hoping they weren't going to look in there so that we could just have it shipped with our stuff, since it was in my mind that they weren't going to pack it if they knew about it. So I was trying to hide it within the things, but then I had noticed the one guy opening the box and checking in it, but then he resealed it and wrote on dry food. So I was so thankful that he had just sent it. And then it started to feel real once they actually started hauling everything out. For a while, it just felt like they were packing our stuff, but at one point, obviously, they had to start taking things out of the house and putting it into the truck downstairs. So they had just started hauling stuff out, and it was a little bittersweet, I'll admit. This guy was trying to move our dresser out of our bedroom, and Emmett was cheering him on, but he had to go get help.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Here here was our truck that they were packing our stuff into. They each go into these little crates. We were allowed 9,000 pounds of weight to be shipped back to America, but we had actually only used not quite 7,000. And I was pleasantly surprised because when we left South Dakota, we had 5,800. So we had actually only gotten 1,000 pounds of things since Emmett was born. So I was very pleasantly surprised with that as well. And once the movers had packed up our things for that day, we had realized around supper time what we didn't keep out and what we were lacking. So we ran to one of our favorite dollar stores and grabbed a little cutting board, a set of forks, a set of spoons, this little funnel to fill up Emmett's reusable applesauce pouches, and this white tape. I went in searching for cord covers so I could cover up Emmett's sound machine and baby monitor covers in his room, but I couldn't find them. So the next best thing I was thinking was to cover it in tape. And I grabbed one of these magnetic hooks so we had a place for our coats and keys to be hung on since our front door is magnetic. And then I grabbed this razor holder since we don't have a shower caddy anymore and Emmett sneaks into our shower sometimes. And then I grabbed this multi-bit screwdriver just so we had something to take off the outlet covers, and we have to put back on the laundry room cabinet doors before we move. So a screwdriver that we aren't committed to would be nice. And so this day I needed to clean up this area. We kept this shelf in Emmett's bedroom to hold his sound machines and the cords for his baby monitor, and it was just kind of a mess. And I have these intrusive mom thoughts that can't have free cords just hanging around in Emmett's bedroom because he is only one and there's nothing else in his room to hide it. So we had this in our bedroom over an outlet. It is a cord cover, I believe. So you just put it right on the outlet and it closes in over the things that are plugged in so that Emmett can't pull them out. So I figured I would just move that on over to his room so I could be less crazy and worry a little bit less. Now it was time to tape the cord to the wall, and I don't know why it didn't focus here, so it's a little bit blurry, so I apologize for that. So I decided to tape the cord on the wall kind of in a zigzag motion-ish, just so it seemed the least noticeable. I was trying to get it to not be a fixture in Emmett's eye, so I figured if I used white tape on a white wall, Emmett wouldn't look at it or play with it, and he actually didn't touch it. You'll see what happens. It was not pleasant, and it didn't work. So all this effort was actually for nothing, and I will give you an update after day 2. So I was running to grab Burger King breakfast sandwiches for our movers because the night before I asked our American mover, what he would want. So I had mentioned Burger King sandwiches and he got so excited because I don't think that he lives on base, so he doesn't have access to these foods. So I grabbed some American things for them, and then they were just done packing when I got home, and hauling stuff out. And to keep Emmett occupied today, we threw his mattress up over our air mattress, and he was using it as a little ladder and just playing and getting all his energy out. He was a little bit more on edge this day because it was his first day waking up outside of his crib and his first night sleeping outside of his crib as well, obviously. So it was a little bit more interesting for him this day. Now they were finally moving more things downstairs to the truck, so I ran downstairs because I wanted to see them putting things in. We had filled up 5 crates of the truck yesterday, so they were bringing back this one. I think we ended up filling up 7 1/4, he said, so we filled up just a couple more of these that day, and I believe this will just get thrown onto a ship and sent back to America, and then we will get our stuff. And when I got back upstairs after they had moved all our stuff, Rachel and Emmett were just playing around this box because we kept this box because they were just going to throw it away, and we figured a box can be a fort, a box can be anything. So this day after the movers had left, I realized that my tape on this cord had not worked at all, and I was not about to let Emmett sleep in this room with this exposed cord, so we went to Daiso this time. Yesterday we had gone to the dollar store Syria, but at Daiso I know exactly where the cord covers are. It's just a little bit more of a drive, so I didn't want to go there the night before. But today I had just said, let's do the drive and go get the cord cover just to feel safe. So here I was just taking down the tape that had fallen and putting on the new cord cover. And look at that. With it all done, it just looks so much nicer. You can't even pull those little brown pieces that are poking out. So if Emmett tries to grab them, he can't even pull it out or pull it down. So I was just pleased with how that looked. And finally, I had to add a cord cover for this baby monitor cord because I didn't want, if the cord falls down or the baby monitor falls down, at least it would be caught by the cord cover. So to be able to add the second cover, I had to pull this zip tie off of the cord over here, and I could not get it. So I frustratedly yelled for Rachel to come fix it, as she always does. So she came in and ended up saving the day so I could get this project finished. And I learned my lesson with the zip ties, so I grabbed these cord clips at Daiso so I could put them back on these cords that were loose, just so they were tied up and looked a little bit more tidy than this. So I just did that, and I love Daiso. It's an unnecessary purchase, but I looked at it as it was $1. 100 yen isn't fully equal to $1, so this was less than $1, and it was very visually pleasing, and these zip ties were fine. Now that it's finished, I'll show you what we've got going on. We have the cord from the baby monitor with that new clip on it. And this is for the projector. This is the nightlight that I needed to plug in. This projector just sends light up to the ceiling, and it also plays a little thundery noise that Emmett loves. So he watches the pretty lights and listens to thunder as he falls asleep. And this other one is just a normal sound machine. It plays rain for him at night, so it just keeps it noisy in here. And this is the remote for the projector, so nothing too fancy. But here's how it looks finished, and I was very pleased. And here is how it sounds when it's on. So here's what we're working with now. This is the view of the door from the living room. I have these magnetic hooks from the dollar store to hold our jackets, keys, and hats so they're not on the floor for the next 8 weeks. From the door, the view of the living room has a little tent with stuffed animals in it. Right around this corner is where we have been keeping the stroller. And our router is just open and on the floor, but Emmett hasn't seemed too interested in it yet, so that's been nice. On the other side of the living room, there's this little nook where we keep this little chair we found at Daiso for 500 yen, which is under $5 US. And we keep these tiny Disney books on this little frisbee disc thing. And the funny thing about the baseball is that we didn't intend to keep it with us, but Emmett must have thrown it in Rachel's boot before the movers came, because when she got ready for work the next day, there was this baseball in her boot. Anyway, looking across out of the living room is this view of the dining room. We just kept our camping chairs and bar stools so we would have a place to sit throughout the day. I am a stay-at-home mom, so Emmett and I are here all day while Rachel goes to work, so we did want a place to eat our meals and have some downtime. Through the hallway by the entryway, you can come into the kitchen. We don't have too terribly much in here. I kept my computer and my diffuser. We ordered this mini projector on Amazon since we knew we wouldn't have a TV for a while. Our streaming stick plugs right into the back of the projector, and we kept this portable speaker to elevate the sound of the projector. This little setup has actually been pretty nice. I would definitely recommend getting a projector if you're going to be without a TV for a while. We don't even watch very much TV, but when we do, it's nice to not have to watch it on a computer or a phone. So that's all for this main living area. In the hallway closet, we just keep the extra tissues since we all have a bit of seasonal allergies at the moment. Beneath that is extra diapers and wipes, as well as the caddy that we keep the current diapers, wipes, and ointments in. We also kept back our vacuum so we would be able to clean once our belongings were moved. We did this when we moved our stuff from South Dakota before we came to Japan as well. We just gave our vacuum away when we were done there, but it was nice to be able to have clean floors in the meantime. Over here, I'm just keeping a few of Emmett's learning puzzles and flashcards. This way, I have to get them out to work with him versus letting him just have free reign and forcing me to clean up all the pieces when he dips out. On the right of the hallway is the master bedroom. In here we have our air mattress. I kept a couple of my favorite throw blankets just to feel a little bit at home. Here is a little Echo Dot because I am shamefully more dependent on Alexa than I would like to be. And over on the far wall is just a sound machine and a box of Kleenexes. In our master bathroom, we just have all the essentials and our water flosser. That is one thing Rachel was not willing to part with. Across the hall is Emmett's playroom. We kept a few of his favorite toys that we'll pack in our suitcase when we leave here, but most of these toys will end up being donated before we go. He really enjoys cars and trucks, so we have a couple bigger ones, as well as the car from Bluey he got for Easter. And then he has this box of random cars and noisy toys. Next to that is this little shelf we kept back so Emmett would have some normalcy during this time. So we'll have to donate this or sell this before we go. But on this shelf is some pullback cars, mini cars. In the middle is this formula can that I cut a little slot in so Emmett can put these flashcards into. And on the right is a container of animals, and next to that is some stacking blocks. And on the top is just this sound puzzle that he enjoys that he also got for Easter. Over by the door is a stack of Emmett's favorite books. I watched which books he gravitated toward for the couple weeks before the movers came and chose to keep the books with us since Emmett loves to read. And then we, as well as the movers, weren't able to figure out how to get our portable grill back in the box, so we just kept the box and Emmett uses it as a little table. So this is our temporary playroom. And over here is Emmett's bedroom. We have literally nothing but his crib mattress in here, minus the shelf over there that holds his sound machine, projector, and all the cords from that, as well as his baby monitor. I was just not interested in having cords all over the floor. It didn't sit well with my intrusive mom thoughts, so here we are. We have had 3 nights now without the crib, and he's been doing so well. I watched him on the monitor last night. He was on the floor when I opened the app, and then he crawled back up to the mattress. It was the cutest thing. Thank you for joining me on our journey of packing up our entire home. It was definitely a bittersweet day, but I'm glad it's over and to be moving toward more exciting adventures. If you'd like to stick around for that, please hit the subscribe button. I would love to see you stick around, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye!